A little after 1, or 9, 9:02. It's a little after 1. Okay, and we're all present with the exception of Maureen. Agenda approval. Did everybody like the agenda? Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So
And Karen. All in favor? Okay. Approval of the previous minutes from October. They really looked good to me, but them was always true, so. Anybody have anything to add? They've been through the process and everybody's looked at them and said, what do they need to say?
I think there's one quick thing, if we can, on page, I should say, 3 quick things. Page 2, the table and chairs and then storage, that's letter E.
Okay.
The little letter didn't show up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the little letter didn't show up for some reason. And then in that third paragraph of letter E, was the siding, this says the siding on the side of the auto house facing the shed. Wasn't that supposed to be the whole auto house? I might be wrong, but I don't know why we would repoint just a side of the structure.
Yeah.
Okay. And,
Just say on the auto house.
Yeah, just repointing of the auto house.
Yeah.
And then get rid of facing the shed.
yeah. Oh, can you back up to letter D? The note, the last thing in that paragraph, that's just a note that was in the drafting process. I think it doesn't mean to be in the final version. You can just exclude that last note.
Sorry, I'm still on
Oh, I can share this with you. That's
point. Oh.
If you'd like, I can just,
Are there more things?
just one more last question. And it's more about on page 3.
What was the one you just did?
The one that we just did, we have
I have that.
And where you have the
that.
note.
Oh,
It's
the
just
note
a
needs to
scratch.
come out, okay.
because it was just part of the drafting process.
Okay. Thank you.
Then one last question, really, and it was on page 3, and third paragraph down. So what I had suggested for an addition to the minutes was something that I really should have clarified in the meeting, but I had asked the question, what was the cost of the musicians for club affair? And I think that got interpreted as what was the cost of the dancers, because the change in here is referring to the dancers for club affair. And that was that everyone was donation based, and so donations were taken from the party, which is fine. That's great that was what that was. My question that I was asking about was really what was the cost of the quartet at the club affair? Because we were talking about trying to reduce the cost of music at the art walk, and I remembered we had that beautiful quartet at the club affair, and I wondered what the cost of that was. So I don't know if
So you're talking about the quartet to play at Art Walk, because this is talking about Art Walk?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was not
Are you
I'm like-
talking about the jazz quartet?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because the other, I had the other quartet was
Oh,
you're talking about the orchestra that played it.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's right,
it
I'm
is.
sorry, you might be right. It's the one,
Okay.
it's the quartet that played on the veranda at
Yes.
Club Affair.
Okay. Because
Okay,
this
there
is
was
talking
no
about Art
cost.
Walk, but
No
I
cost
guess
for them.
you made the suggestion
That
that
was them.
maybe, and that's the symphony orchestra,
Ah,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
And the symphony itself paid them $200 each to do that.
So the symphony paid them to do that. And we-
Because they always pay their
wonderful.
people, yeah, she,
Yeah, it was, for Club Affair, we weren't, you
Yeah.
know,
Nice work.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
That was the question. That
so,
was my question that I was asking when in the conversation, but
Oh,
it somehow
okay.
got interpreted or taken as dancers, and I was asking about the quartet.
okay, got it.
So that's all. That's it. And yeah, if you want to change that to make it so that it's, or include it in, because I think it's great to have the information about the dancers too, that's very nice. The cost. Okay.
Okay, so Karen asked about cost for the symphony to play Club Fair as a suggestion for Art Walk.
Yeah. All right. Because if it wasn't cost to us, there we go.
Yeah.
If we're
Well,
allowed
I
to
think
do
that
that,
in
Yeah.
that situation, there was
Yeah.
no cost, but anyway, that's
Yeah,
not
that
even
may be
Yeah.
a
Okay.
situation.
later for Art Walk.
right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other corrections to the minutes?
I have some notes about minutes, processes in general though
Okay.
to discuss. So we have, along with the packet here, and I just got this yesterday, so it's not included in the packet, but Aurora was, and I don't know her actual title, but
She's an administrative analyst.
okay, administrative analyst.
10 minutes.
We have one of those?
Yes, it has, well, for recreation, she works at Memorial Building.
Okay.
And has done lots of minutes for several boards over time. Anyway, we asked her to take our minutes from this month and work on kind of making them concise and more simplified, just because we need to work on this as a group in general. Cindy's doing a fantastic job, but it's really not meant to be like a super detailed accounting of every single thing that was discussed during the meeting. It's meant to be an overview of actions taken and action steps moving forward. So the example here is Aurora having taken our October minutes and making them more concise and cutting them down to just be, a documentation of actions taken.
Well, this is helpful.
Yeah, so this is kind of more what the minutes are meant to look like. And like I said, Cindy's doing a fantastic job. I think in sharing the minutes with everybody, it's gotten, it's nice to have everybody take a look at them before the meetings and not have to discuss all of it during the meetings, but there's too much detail being put into the minutes in general. So we need to keep it more concise. And we have the videos for documentation of all of the details that were talked about, and we have backup audio and video now since there's been some issues with the videos. So that should be fine moving forward. But yeah, so I wondered if anybody has any questions about these. I know you haven't had a chance to look at them prior to now, but just to kind of, it's something you can take home, get a better idea of what minutes should look like, and just how they need to be more concise and just focusing on actions taken. So that's
Aurora
it.
is what? She's the
Administrative analyst,
Administrative analyst.
Aurora Black. So she did this for us as an example, so that our process can tighten up moving forward and get to be more concise.
Okay.
Cool.
Anybody have anything to add to that?
I
I think we need to have a chance to take a whole look at it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea for everyone to be able to take a look at it and compare it to the one that we have. And even, bring it forward into next year so that our new board can
Yeah.
discuss it further and together decide what we want our minutes to include or not include. While this is great, that it's, obviously I've not seen this until now.
Yeah.
That it seems like it's more concise. I think the unique thing about the Callahan House is that there is more detail that goes into the functioning of the house, and so having a written record of it so that it's not lost is helpful, of course, and so that does sometimes include a little bit more detail than what, say, recreation might or any other city department might do for the minutes. So we'll just keep an open mind, I suppose, if we can. Keep it simple, keep it concise, but make sure that the information is there. Because I can speak from personal experience that when searching for past information in minutes, I could not find it. And that was part of in grant writing. And so that was a really challenging thing when I could not find the detail of what was on the agenda in minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And that's why we have the videos, is so that we do have a record of all of the details. So minutes really are meant to be concise, and if we're finding consistently that there's something, a little more that we need to include, then that can, we should take a look at that. But overall, this is, per the city clerk's office and per the processes for boards, this is what the minutes need to look like. They need to be more concise. It needs to be an easier process for the secretary, and for all of us involved in getting this put together for each meeting.
You're saying the city clerk's office has this?
This is their direction. They have directed all boards, all people taking minutes to, they've actually gone through a training.
This is the same conversation that we had earlier in the year after Ben and I went to that training about minutes needing to be a record of actions taken and to be more concise in general. So this is kind of a follow-up to that conversation.
Can we put this on the agenda for next month,
Or
Just
actually,
follow up.
can we put it, well,
December?
I'm
Maybe
a little
January?
concerned about, I'm a little concerned about December, it's gonna be really stacked. Maybe
We'll
put
just
it
put it on
into January.
Put it on January, for a future agenda items. Okay, that works for me. Okay, may I?
One more note about minutes is if we are going to continue the process of everybody being able to comment on them after Cindy has put them together, those comments need to come in by the due date that she sets.
Right.
And anything else after that will not be taken into consideration.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that did happen, and more changes than were made by you, and then there was another review, and that was like, okay, I didn't.
My initial changes were put in by the due date. And then I got another draft
Mine were
after
too,
that.
and I did too. So I think you're doing a fabulous job. You're doing amazing.
I think the fact that both of your inputs were so intertwined in certain areas, that made it a little harder to come up with a final something that sort of addressed both of your issues. It would have taken more time to do that, but neither of you knew that the other one was going to have that much input on the same areas.
That makes sense. So, but I agree.
Yeah,
I always do appreciate deadlines, and I did meet that deadline.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if the process of everybody being able to get that input is still working well moving forward.
Maybe I need to give earlier deadlines so that if there is a lot of difference among two people who've edited, there's more time to come to some resolution on it.
Well, and I would encourage everybody to review the video because I reviewed it 3 times to
Wow.
edit these minutes.
And I have not-
that's right there. It says what we talked about, what we didn't talk about. So.
I guess I should be reviewing it every time.
If you, and I only do it for the parts that I need clarification on, but yeah, it's a helpful tool. So,
It is.
okay, thank you.
Okay, now can we have a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
We approve the minutes as corrected.
This is, and a second? Second. It's gonna be the two of them. It's not you and me, it's them.
Yeah.
Just write that down. Okay, public invited to be heard, I don't see any public comments, so that's a done deal. Let's move into old business, the digitized scrapbooks. Still on old business.
Yes. So Rachel and I had a chance to connect about that. She reached out to the state authority on ADA compliance and has not gotten any information back. She also reached out to the city legal, and basically the guidance that they've provided is unless there's an issue, they're not going to look further into the situation. So that said, it doesn't seem like we're going to get a lot of information on exactly what needs to happen. So the thought is that we move forward with posting the PDFs as they are, but offer alternative ways for people to engage with the scrapbooks, one of which being inviting people to make an appointment to come to the house and see them in person. And if people have, a visual reason that they can't engage with the scrapbooks, if they can bring someone with them to help them engage, or a staff member can help them engage with the scrapbooks. The other option that Rachel would like to put forward is to have someone, ideally a board member, if someone's willing, to go through and create an audio recording of engaging with the scrapbooks, and reading some of the articles and things like that, so that there's an audio, like the PDFs would serve as a visual way to engage, and then have a recording available along with the PDFs online as an auditory way to engage.
Did you say that would be a board member?
Ideally.
Ideally.
So
Is
very
it
nice.
suggested?
Yeah, I thought
That's
it
very
was a great idea.
Well, for visual,
Visual,
for
for
visually
visual,
impaired,
yeah.
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So at least, and basically because the ADA compliance for municipal websites and things is so new, there's not really a lot of information out there on these sort of niche projects. But what it does say is that we've made our best efforts to make it accessible. And so I think if we're offering different avenues in which people can engage with the material, then we are making our best efforts, and hopefully people would see that and not be upset. And giving people the opportunity to reach out if we haven't presented a way for them to engage,
Right.
and letting us know what that looks like for them, and then that could be something we could work on.
Exactly.
So if we're just at least like giving out the options, then
Just notice that we can accommodate
yeah.
as best as possible.
It just doesn't seem like we're
However,
getting anywhere with trying to get specific direction
Right.
on like what exactly needs to happen. So it's a little bit open to interpretation, and this is our interpretation at least to begin with.
Okay.
So I think that said, we can move forward with scanning. I need to get that. So we have the scan of the first like old, the original days or whatever it's called, early years. Get that to Rachel and see what the process is like for her to get that on the website, and then from there I think we can finally like get back to the scanning and whatnot. So
Great, that sounds
Is
great.
there any way that a high school speech or drama student could be enlisted to do this or even a National Honor Society student to get credit or
project.
hours?
That sounds like a great idea to me.
It is a great
Someone's
idea.
interested, especially if they, are interested in that. Maybe they could spice it up a little bit, or I'm just if they're.
Not just reading it, but
Yeah,
talking into
exactly,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. Do you
Yeah.
know someone?
I actually, don't you think Kirsten's
Her daughter.
possibly, she's
Oh,
a
yeah.
drama and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I know of somebody and a route
Okay.
to kind of follow through, so I'll throw that out there and see
Yeah,
what might happen.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
So among the drama department students, are the, there's business students, I think it's Silver Creek, and they have to do a capstone project. This would be really right up that alley. Also with the IB program at NIWAT, they have to have a full-on program or something, service that they're working on that they do. So those are two other outlets that you could reach out to, NIWAT High School and to Silver Creek,
Or if
specifically
you-
for those reasons.
If you know a connection there,
Yeah.
it wouldn't hurt to reach out.
That's
To
the
several.
question.
Sure,
Yeah.
okay, happy to do that. I
And
just
even
didn't wanna.
if we get several, they could each take pieces, because
Right.
there's a lot of information.
It is a
Probably
lot
would be
for
good
one
to have
person.
several.
Yeah, I think you
In
would.
general.
So this would be Longmont High School
Okay,
that I'd reach out to,
Okay.
drama
okay.
department, speech.
Okay, I can reach out to NIWAT and Silver Creek.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's a little ways down the road, but
Yeah.
that's great.
Well, I think we might want to be doing that somewhat simultaneously, just so that we don't have the PDFs on there, and then it's a long time before we have the audio on it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
There is a group that's going around the cities and actively looking for EDA website problems and suing cities.
Okay.
It's usually based on PDFs.
Okay.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
it's something.
Yeah, it's
Well, we will be as accommodating as possible,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
So.
And it could be that we have to go back to the original idea, which was like adding all the text, typing out the articles and things like that, and having those as alt text with the PDFs. So maybe that, in
That
addition
too
to
could
the
be a
audio
student
and all of
project.
these things.
Yes, no kidding.
I'm gonna sign up a student to do that.
Right. Several students.
I know,
did that
right?
with
Yes,
the
I would take
project.
it to that.
Well, maybe
It's
have
like-
people reach out for like volunteer opportunities here, maybe we'll
Right,
have
right,
something
that
for
too.
them.
Yes,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, thank you. Anything else on the digitized scrapbook? Okay, moving on to the updated video.
So we had reached out to see if everybody's available for a review of the most recent draft. I think it's the 21st at 10 a.m. So I just want to confirm. I know that's good for Marine. Just want to confirm if that works for everybody.
24th.
It's the 21st.
It's a Tuesday?
Next Thursday.
Oh, it's next Thursday.
Yeah,
Sorry, this for the video?
Yeah,
Yeah,
to review the most
review it
recent
in
draft.
Yes,
Did I
I'm
show
sorry.
it with this review? I don't think I did. Sorry, I haven't actually reviewed it yet either, but I'll send you that one.
You sent it to me. I have a
Okay.
tab open.
Sorry,
I've had it open for a few days.
Oh, that's right, okay.
I'll get one.
It
exists. It exists.
Yes.
Yes.
More final, okay. So the 21st at 10 a.m., does that work for everybody?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll make it work.
Thank you. Okay, so that would be a review of the recent draft, and it's in your email, so I would suggest if you have time to review it before we get together, so that you kind of know what notes you wanna bring to the table, but.
Can I make it 10:30 instead of 10 a.m.?
Sure. I think
Is that
it
okay
was
with
anytime
everybody?
after 10 was good for Marie,
Okay,
so.
all right. That just really helps me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And that's where we're at right now, so that's the only note I have about
Great.
that. So
Good, good.
see
Thank
after
you.
the review, yeah.
Perfect. Excellent.
And we did a lot, what was that, 2 weeks ago, Karen and Maureen came in and did the recording of the voiceovers for the interviews to correct those couple items, and so I imagine we'll see those included.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Okay, the patrons program. All right, we have,
In
really
the packet, we have the updated outline,
right?
and we have both of the letters. The one for a company and organization, the other for individual and families. And these were approved by the committee, the outline and the letters. The other document in here is the Patrons of Callahan House donor information form. And that was discussed by the committee. This is how it is in draft based on what our discussion is. So I want to see if there's any other change that anyone would have to this donor form. And then if we could approve the 4 documents to move forward with the next steps.
I have a couple items unless anybody. So if we can make this a digital process, I think that would be,
Really wonderful.
yeah,
Everything
so
overall.
make this a digital, like an online process instead of a form that people mail in. We have to be able to access it online, or they can
Absolutely.
print it online and mail it if they need to, but the direction, primarily would be to fill it out online.
Absolutely, and this is just a paper draft, kind of like what the survey for clubs is.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
this is a paper copy. So if somebody wants just a paper copy, they can have this. But the idea was this is the content. If you can put it in an electronic format, that would
Yeah.
be great.
And then
And
we
I
should
can
change the
see,
letter
yeah.
to guide people to that. As
Oh, okay.
opposed to, it says, please complete the attached form and send it by US mail.
Okay.
So we'll just wanna change that to, please go to this link and,
Please complete
yeah,
the
either
donor
complete or
information.
print the form, and if you need to print and mail it, you can send it to.
Yeah, I think you
such
can probably
and
just
such
ask
address.
that.
So would you
Yeah.
say, please,
Yeah.
just say, please complete the donor information form? Is that what you're talking about?
I think adding, submit it online, in person, or via mail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that just add that piece in.
All right.
One thing I just want to mention, when I'm referring back to these items in the minutes, I redid the alphabetical chronology here. It says ABD, EH, AB.
Oops.
So I redid those,
Thank
if you can just make it CDFG. So when I refer to it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So when I'm moving stuff around and forget to
Yeah,
redo
that
it.
is really easy to do.
Yes.
Really easy. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
You missed
Guys are not
that.
Well,
Yeah.
I have to reference back.
Yeah.
Cindy, that's hilarious.
It's not personal.
Good eye.
Yeah, very good eye. Thank you.
Sorry, the three options for patrons program are online, on paper, in person.
Yeah.
Online, or in person, or
Or
via
via
USB.
USB.
So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, submit it online. So we're just basically adding
Bring
in
it by the
word
house and pop it
online.
in the mail.
Yeah. So we're just
Okay.
basically adding the word online in front. So correct. Yeah. Complete the form and then submit it
Okay.
online.
So that begs the question about how we disseminate these letters then. People, in the past, I've sent letters to people and then you follow up with a phone call and they say, I never saw that.
What
Just
letter?
sent it
Yeah.
via email. So you end up doing both things. The cost of postage, that's outrageous. So
Well, it's an
going
excellent
forward,
point.
what do we decide to do?
It's an excellent point. And maybe
To
that matter, we
email blast.
we focus more on, well, we definitely do the email blast, but maybe we focus on when we're gathering the company data, the information. We try to also include an email whenever possible. And so for those who definitely have email, we can use email and send it electronically. For those who don't use email, then a paper copy is still going to be mailed to them, and then probably be a significant reduction in postage
Right.
cost. So that's a great point.
I would say that's probably the best way to.
Yeah, I agree.
You're right,
Yeah.
you're right.
Because doing both things for everybody is just,
Exactly.
oh,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unnecessary. People get a
yeah,
lot of
gotta take those away.
That being said, if the link is, you should have the link in the letter if it's going to be electronic.
Agreed, yeah,
So
that's
when you
my
say
note.
online, have a link in there
Yep.
also.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Online app.
Yeah. Submit the form and then it's a link.
What's the option other than email? Or what are we gonna do?
We'll focus on emailing the letter. E-blasts for the group emails that we've got, but then emails directly to companies, organizations, and individuals.
Thanks.
You could say online at whatever the address is.
And then the only other note / question that I had was on the company organization letter in the second paragraph. It says as a patron, company organization would be acknowledged in citywide marketing communications and in any local media coverage. I don't know if that's something that we would promise, like usually if we're in the Times Call or something like that. I guess if it were pertaining to a specific project
Yeah, I
that was
think that
funded
was-
by a patron, that they would be acknowledged, but I think that's a specific circumstance that kind of hopefully goes without saying.
That's a good point.
So I don't know if we should include that, that kind of,
promise.
yeah, to me, that says that we're gonna like post an ad
Any
on their
local
behalf
media.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think just getting rid of the local media coverage, I mean, in citywide marketing, yes, I mean, if somebody's sponsoring an event, they're gonna be acknowledged as a sponsor in our emails. And they can be acknowledged on our website and here in the foyer, but I don't think local media coverage is something we should include.
So just remove and in any local media coverage.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that sound okay to you all?
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
And so then we decided that our, the basis of our list to send these out would of course start with email blast contacts. And then anybody else that we personally, I would think, can contribute, each of us, friends, family, whatever. And then Chamber of Commerce with their list of businesses in the area.
Yeah.
And I think we said that we could use the recreation constant contact as well. Could be
Absolutely.
separate. Okay,
That's great.
yeah, that's a big group of people, so.
So a couple of just housekeeping things. Kenny, were you able to reach the Chamber of Commerce contacts, the Scott Cook here in
I have not yet.
Okay. if you can reach out to them between now and the next month, that would be really helpful. Okay. And then another thing we need to ask, we had talked about adding some language regarding contact your tax advisor, your contribution donation. So, two things. I'm suggesting this, and it's up to you all what you think, that we put that language on this donor information form, that it would be your donation may be tax deductible, please contact your tax advisor. That is an appropriate place for that as donor, for it to go on the donor form. So if we can.
As opposed to the letter.
Yeah,
And
we're
we are
really
including the
jammed with the letter up.
He said we are including the tax ID.
Yeah, sure.
And that was the other question we wanted to know, because the committee said, can we use the tax ID, can we provide that? And so the question was to be raised to you all.
Yeah, it's what.
Yeah, we did talk about that, so we can include all that.
Excellent. Okay, so that the tax ID and the language regarding tax advisor
Yes.
can go on this donor information form.
Yes.
Okay, great. Oh, and are you going to include, now obviously, we haven't talked about the video, I didn't think this is premature, but we had talked about how we, in the committee meeting, how we could include in the closures of the video this big statement of with deepest appreciation and thanks to donors and patrons of the Callahan House.
I think I sent that to Jamal, but we will double check.
Okay, because that was one which just kind of in anticipation of rolling this program out.
I think you sent me an email with that exact language, right?
I believe
Okay,
so.
I forwarded that to Jamal.
Okay,
Let me I'll
just double check if you don't mind, yeah. Because it is kind of forward thinking to capture that in the video now.
For now.
Yeah, since this is
Yeah.
pending,
Yes, it's coming.
all the videos pending.
Is it, it's pending, the video is pending, but the second is coming and we want to kind of include it.
Right.
Yeah. And so with those additions and corrections, I move that we approve and accept the outline, the two letters, and the donor information form with those additions and corrections.
Right, with the addition.
I did send it to them.
Okay.
As
I
revised.
appreciate that. Yes, with the additions and the corrections. Revisions and additions.
May I have seconds?
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Did you move?
I move.
Here.
moved.
I can't.
I can't move.
Thank you.
Oh, we all agree.
We're all, it's
Yeah.
unanimous.
So in terms of the agenda, this is all accepted, so we just need to I need to work on getting the form created digitally. And are you gonna make the edits to these pages?
Yes, and I'll
and
forward
to
them
me?
to you,
Okay.
yes.
I don't think we need to include all of them in the packet again,
Sure.
but we would probably wanna keep the patrons program on here, at least through our initial reach outs.
I do.
Yeah, we're not done talking about it. until
And
we
if
get
I
it
may,
launched.
Yeah.
if I may, I would like to ask that going forward with our agenda, that we list it on the agenda as patrons of the Callahan House. We're gonna go forward with this program. We need the name known, that it's not questioned what it is.
Okay.
Patrons of the Callahan House. So going forward on the agenda, it will not be patrons program, it will be patrons of the Callahan House.
So there's way too much to do for all of us between now and the end of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
But we've never really discussed a launch date for this.
No.
So I'd say maybe if we have a goal of early spring, maybe?
I think that's a great goal.
Late winter, early spring.
That's a great goal, because between now and the next couple of months.
Yeah, it's unrealistic to expect it to happen the next
Well,
month.
we're gonna be information gathering
Right.
and all of that, and so we're just
Yeah,
gonna
it's
get.
gonna take a while to
us.
Refining
Yeah.
things, right?
So thank you. And thanks for everyone's work and contribution in this putting everything together and.
Well, thank you for all
Yeah,
that.
you've done the bulk of that work,
Yeah.
so.
Well, and Cindy did a whole bunch of the writing of the
Yes.
letters, so you really need to give her credit there because it was,
Gold star.
it was, and the two of us sat down and we went back and forth with, okay, well, how would it read like this? How would it sound like this?
Yeah.
And it worked really beautifully, but she did an amazing job, so I just really did.
It's her forte.
It's, she's amazing.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you very much for all you've done.
Yes.
I'm excited about this. I'm so excited about this.
Good. Okay, let's move to the next item. I won't put a letter in front of it. Tables and chairs. Whatever that is. We're moving on to tables and chairs and event storage.
So the storage is built. I don't know if y'all saw it, but
Oh,
it's
look
there.
at that there.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
You really got it?
Have to go out there.
Yeah.
We do. Feels
So
good.
yeah, it's there. The only thing that it's waiting on is its second coat of paint, which is happening tomorrow morning, Friday morning, sometime soon. I think it's Friday morning. So yeah, and then it's all done. It's all ready for us. So I'm excited about it. I think the color that we chose is great. It kind of just blends in with the sidewalk.
Great.
Oh, good.
So yeah, so in terms of the actual storage itself, that is pretty well good to go. Minus the second coat of paint.
Stuff, have you moved things?
Nothing's in there yet. I'm waiting until
That's
it's like done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so the storage is good. We'll get everything moved over, and then at some point we can talk about the outhouse. But in regards to all of this, the other thing that we talked about, and it's in the minutes as part of the agenda, so is the encamping situation. So behind the new shed now, because they had to have it a little bit further out than we had hoped because of the branches of the plant back there. There's a new space back there now, which is pretty significant. So I think, with the cold weather and stuff, we probably won't have a ton of issues right now. So it's a good time to make some plans to figure out how to negate any sort of encampment that might go on back there in the spring. And then that kind of goes along with everything that we looked at for the encampment issues in general. Moving the other garden shed, the repointing is all kind of part of this.
All part of the same thing.
Yeah, so in terms of the garden shed, Ben and I did look into moving that back, and unfortunately that's not a possibility based on the air conditioning unit that's back there, which I'm imagining is the reason that it's placed where it is in the first place.
There's also a slope and a
Yeah.
pad, and there are
Right.
multiple reasons that would
It's
be
just not gonna work.
not
Yeah.
feasible.
So we're not gonna be able to move that one back. So the option then is looking into some fencing, which we're talking to Parks about to get this area fenced off down into the stairwell and something
Well, yeah,
behind the new shed.
well, it'd be where the trellis ends there, it'd be adding a similar sort of, something that looks right, and just extend that out, so that
And
that
vine
back
can grow
area
on.
would be behind the fence.
Okay.
And while that might even seem more secure in our experience, folks who are camping will not go through locked fences, things like that. They don't do that, because they know they'll really be in trouble if they do.
Right.
Especially if they're
And then as far as
restricted area.
the stairs, it's a tough one. We already have the cyclone fencing there, the metal fencing. So we'd be adding a fair amount more of that, painting it the same color, it would look the same, but it's gonna look a lot more bulky. I don't love it, but also the situation we have with folks at the bottom of the stairs is really not good. And so it's really, don't have a great solution.
I have an idea. Rather than build a structure up, why not put a steel grate over the stairwell and over the entrance to the stairs going down? That lays flat on, it'd be steel grate, that grating, that lays flat over.
Like when you have a window well and you
Yes,
have plastic
the
cover
window
over
cover.
it. I think she's saying.
But it's a steel grate that rather than putting it over a window well so people don't fall down into the window well, this is putting it over stairs so that people can't go down the stairs. Now, of course,
How
that
would you,
would mean that it would it may be a seasonal thing, that doesn't sound exciting, I know. But maybe that might be a deterrent if it's a seasonal thing and it's removable, because obviously you can't have it permanently there.
No.
So that's an option to consider, because that might work.
Well, I think that, you
I
know,
get where you're going.
yeah, We're looking
Kind of
into
thought
options.
Something like that,
yeah. And I think the idea wasn't to necessarily build like a structure up that would be as visible, but it would just be to continue that chain link fencing, right?
Yeah,
Around
but it's
the
gonna,
thing.
it'll be bulky if we do it that way. And I don't love that by any stretch, so I think your idea is possibly sound.
Yeah, let's give it a
It's
try.
good looking at it. Yeah, it's
We can talk
It
with,
won't
we can
look
check
as
with
bad.
Parks about
Yeah,
that.
present it as an option, because right now we're just looking into whether
Well,
we
obviously-
need to secure those areas, because they've been a problem.
We're not gonna attach anything additional to the house. So that makes it doubly hard, especially even if we put a grate down, we've gotta make sure we're not, anyway. It's just every time I look at something, there's a problem.
Yeah. It's a sticky wicket no matter what you do.
But that's a, yeah, that's a good idea.
It's worth looking at, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I think that's where we're at right now, is we need to look at ways to secure those areas, so.
Yeah.
We'll let you know what we come up with as possibilities after talking to Parks. Did Timber reach back out about setting up a meeting?
Would you like us to, like, after the meeting or something, go out and just kind of put all of our eyes on it? And
Yeah, just so you have an idea of what we're talking about too.
Yeah.
So we can all be going and
Yeah.
On a city shed anyway.
let's see.
so-
Right.
Yeah,
let's
plus I want you to have an understanding of what
ideas.
we're talking about,
Yeah.
just something needs to happen, so.
Okay. I have one last
yeah.
question about the storage shed, if it's okay. And it's just related to, you're gonna have all of everything moved into it. Will the auto house be available to show for our December open house events then?
I mean,
To show
but I don't know that
To
there's,
have available open, to include in the December open house events.
I would
Because people have
probably,
been asking, when can we get in and see the auto house? When's the auto house gonna be built? All throughout the year, our
Some
open
people have a
houses.
thing about
People have thing about it. They wanna see it.
I mean, yeah, there's no reason that they can't see it, it's just there hasn't been much to show, and there still won't be just with the stuff moved out, but
That's fine, it's
it
just,
doesn't
it's just
hurt
a meeting
anything for
space.
people.
It doesn't hurt
Yeah.
anything for people to look at it.
Yeah.
It's just,
So
I'd
it's
say as
somebody's
long
gotta
as we
be
have enough
Tending into.
yes.
warm bodies
Right.
to have somebody in
That's
there,
the key.
Yeah.
then yeah.
Yeah, you can't do it without a body.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're talking
thing is
Santa?
No,
No,
the Santa's the
just-
sixth, the regular open house. is
Just
the
the regular open house, yeah.
Which is what, the 11th?
It is
12th.
on here
12th.
as the 12th.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm like, oh yeah, it is. It
It'd be
says right
nice if
here.
we could have a small Christmas tree in there.
Yes, and
So
we
Candy, do you
we've done
happen to
that before.
have a
We have
set of cars and mobile things that could be the theme in there?
Well, I do, but they're at my house. The cars are on my truck. I'm like, oh,
But we do,
Tree on my tree.
but Brittany, we do have extra supplies, right? We do have extra things that are not being used in the house now.
We don't have an extra tree, cause that, we don't have an extra tree,
Okay.
so.
I might have an extra tree.
You can see if
Well,
they
if
have any
you-
in the balcony. with the trees up
I was up there just the other day looking at Halloween stuff.
there. Yeah, the silly little ones, but that would be probably.
No, we don't have something that I don't think would look very nice.
I remember when you
I'd
did a
say if
full-on
people
big
are
tree in
interested in looking at it
It's
out of
always just
curiosity,
small.
then we can
Christmas
decide.
lights.
If you all want to
Like
create,
back,
you are
it's like
welcome
kind of
to.
covered.
Right, yeah.
So I'm in
Yeah. If you wanna get that crazy,
Yeah,
help
even
yourself.
if it's not a tree, using some of the decorations that are available maybe.
Yeah, we've
Have
got
to
a
be a
few
tree.
things
Yeah.
around.
You can buy
but-
elf
It would
in
have
it.
to
But
be
I-
trees.
Doesn't
Just
have
have
Yeah.
like a
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't have to be a big tree.
Well,
I
this is a
remember
fairly
previous-
tall tree that
Oh, okay.
we haven't decided whether we're gonna use it or not yet, so. And it lights work.
Which can work, yeah. That would be great. I just wanted to throw this out, that when we did decorate the auto house, when we did have it been years ago, it did not matter. The size of the tree that was put out there is actually like a tabletop size.
Right.
So we could go anything small or big.
Yeah, the one that
So
we must
whatever
put out
it
there
is.
is the one that's in the parlor now.
Yeah,
And then the little one is upstairs in the meeting room now, so.
so we could use whatever, we could use anything.
We'll decide this
If
weekend.
you all
and
wanna
let you know.
decorate it instead of a committee time to do that, you are so welcome.
And you know, Brittany, didn't I bring up those Mexican
Yep, very
Christmas
bad.
ornaments?
Mhm.
There's quite a few of those with gold ribbons or whatever, so I think that would be
Yeah.
easily used.
Yeah, there's more decor, we just don't have another tree, but if you wanna do a thing.
I'll let you know.
We'll see.
That sounds great.
To
We'll get it figured out between now and then.
be considered as we go.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else on tables, chairs, and event storage and sheds and stuff? Are you good?
Yeah, I just wanna add something here.
Okay.
No, I can add.
Okay, let's move on to website and Wikipedia updates.
So
Is that you?
that's me. So I emailed to you
I saw it, yeah, well, I saw the email, I haven't read the email.
Right, and just so you know, it's not something, at least unless you think that it needs to be, the copy is provided and to everyone at the next meeting. I thought it was just I was supposed to
Yeah,
be
I'll
giving
just
those updates to
make the
you, and you're
changes.
making the updates on
Yep.
the website. So all of that has been emailed to Brittany really early this morning, technically before the meeting, as I promised.
Technically, 8:20, but never mind.
It was like what was it, 1:30 or something in the
good.
morning, and I was like, oh shit, finally finished. Anyway, lots on my plate, but it's done, and it was just a ton, and if anyone's interested, you wanna see what the changes were, I'm happy to share copies with you all. But it was a lot of little
It's a lot.
stuff that was like, oh shoot, that's wrong,
Yeah.
whoops, that's wrong, so.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing
Anyway.
that.
I know that's a lot. It's a lot of work. But, and then with respect to Wikipedia, those are some legitimate resources that are on Wikipedia. So I don't see a need to try and modify any of that content. That content is directly from those resources, and those resources are like History of Colorado, the National Historic Register. So I'm
Pretty solid resources.
pretty solid. So
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, we're not gonna touch that.
Okay, good. I think that's a good plan.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on that?
No, I think that we can then remove that from agenda going forward.
Right, excellent. Okay, the next item is the 2025 garden plans.
So it was requested at the last meeting to see what we submitted to Parks last year for this year. So
Right,
that's in the packet after the patrons program, so that you all can see what information was submitted. And then if anybody has any feedback for next year, other than what we've talked about, which is returning more to the formal aesthetic, which was worked on this year and will continue to be a project over time. And then the central note about trying to plant the fountain lower.
Did they get done with the electrical over there?
They've done the trenches yesterday,
I saw
so there's still, I think they still need another step
They
or
were
two.
sections there Sunday. We rode by on Sunday.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah,
just saw this.
well then they probably are getting close then. I figured they just start, cause I wasn't here Sunday or Monday, so I figured they were just starting it yesterday.
Yeah.
But it got delayed because they were waiting on permitting. But anyway, yeah. So, so this is the information, and then I guess based on any of this, if there's additional feedback other than what we've talked about, the formal garden and the lower. And last year the plan was, and they put in, order to do the citations around the fountain and have it all be really low, but
right,
the order doesn't always mean that that's what we're gonna get.
right.
So, we were
We
kind of
did
lucky to.
emphasize with them our desire
Yeah.
to do that, so we're working towards it.
Yeah.
Depends on what they
And
thought.
last year we were lucky to get any flowers around the fountain, and I think it ended up looking really nice.
It was beautiful, it's
Yeah.
just, it's not what we wanna have, but the flowers are gorgeous.
Right, oh yeah, they were
The
great.
color is pretty.
Yeah,
They did a good job.
we wanna have
But
it
we need the,
nice and low.
the centerpiece is the fountain.
And they get that, but it's,
Well, thank you
So
very much.
that's always the effort,
Yeah,
but
it's always-
sometimes it could be, you get what you get.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so I don't know if there's any other discussion about that or. Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, we're moving on to holiday decorating. New Santa tree ideas. What?
Yeah, so it was brought up in the last meeting that people were interested in changing up the tree that's in the meeting room potentially for next year and having something a little more kid friendly. So I don't know if you're still interested in that or the ideas that people have. Are we?
I suppose in keeping with the Victorian, era, we should all probably keep our eyes open for things like that that might lend themselves towards that tree. I don't have any particular ones that, my ideas weren't necessarily of that same era. So.
Yeah. Well, but I think that brought up the conversation about having it be a more, more appealing to kids. Somebody, maybe it was Maureen, had the idea about like little wooden toy ornaments,
More like what they would have had back in the day.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the tree looks beautiful. I love how you did it this year. And
Yeah.
so, but if that's something that's of interest, we want to, we need to purchase items after the holidays or whatever for next year. It's something we can potentially look into, or if everybody's good with what there is, I think.
Do we want to ask everyone to go away from this meeting and come back to the December meeting, having pondered and thought about what would that look like, and bring back ideas of ornaments or whatever ideas. Bring back your ideas for what that new Santa tree might look like, or what might go on the tree. Should we do that? So that
As
gives
long
us
as it's early enough to get all the
presents.
marked down stuff.
Oh, yeah, well, I think
Anything.
I think it will, because our
Toys.
next board meeting is.
Yeah.
It's
I
feel like that's what
Oh, yeah.
But of course, also is the idea.
Well, I think they're like the little wooden toys.
Maybe we'll
with
find
ornaments
stuff,
or whatever.
Before Christmas, maybe
Yeah.
we'll
I mean,
even
that's a
find
no-brainer,
stuff
I think.
after Christmas.
Yeah.
Which
I think that's the
is-
idea.
That's what I meant,
Yes.
after Christmas.
And
Yeah.
so, but the idea would not be to, so much to force to get that, this year.
Oh, no,
Right.
yeah, I
But
meant
just
in
to-
time for that after Christmas.
After
sale.
Christmas sales.
So we know what
And
we're
they
looking
get out there like right away, so you
Yes.
gotta.
Early bird gets the worm.
Yeah.
But if we can plan for that, everyone go away from this meeting, come back next month with ideas of what items would be appropriate on that kind of tree. So that way we can actually together come to an agreement on what would it look like. And staying in mind with the period appropriate, we all need to sort of come to an agreement on what does that look like, period appropriate, child friendly.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
And.
Or,
Yeah,
I think,
period appropriate, I think
if
you
we
said.
had some cool antique toys or period toys, the
Right.
rocking horse, the
Right.
real old fire truck, 40s, 50s, they have those things. They're just,
Yeah.
they're hard to find, they're
Yeah.
very expensive, but sometimes you'll see remakes like at Hobby
Right.
Lobby and places.
Exactly.
Really kind of keeps their eyes open for something like
Kind of
that.
fun.
Secondhand stores.
Right, yeah. But if we talk about it at the next meeting, we have an idea what to look for
yes,
after Christmas.
exactly.
So when you
The
get
good sales
oh
are-
dark 30, the better.
Yes. You'll be there too, won't you?
Oh, yeah, it's my favorite thing to do.
And then keep in mind, we can, if you see something, we can purchase it with the P card, but if you purchase something, it's a donation. We can't reimburse you. So we're happy to get supplies, but
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
You still have money, right?
I got supply money,
She doesn't.
probably.
Probably. Maybe.
Maybe I didn't say
Well,
that.
in January.
Maybe. Okay, moving on. New business, the future restoration and preservation. Are we redoing our thought process on that?
I have one exciting thing to start off with, if I may. And because it is tied to the table and chairs. I found a antique furniture restoration company in Windsor, and it is called Memory Lane Antiques. And I got in touch with Dan Stoss. He's the one who does restoration. He's been in the business for over 30 years restoring furniture and has antiques in his shop in Windsor. And he is available and interested in giving us an estimate to do the work on the table, the dining room table, and chairs, and that includes the upholstery. I told him I would send him pictures, because he asked for pictures of the table and chairs, and he will be able to provide an estimate. He can provide pickup and delivery service, so he can come and pick up the table and chairs, restore them, and bring them back, and then he can get started after December.
Great.
So
Are the Questers gonna do this as a project?
my understanding is
Yes.
they are
Fund it.
willing to fund it.
And that's, at least 2 chapters of Questers wanna, work together to, because they can only supply so many funds, but if they can get multiple chapters together,
That would
more
be
better.
excellent.
Nice.
This works. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Very good. It's very exciting to found someone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a hard
Yeah,
search.
there
Yeah,
was
no
new
kidding.
furniture restoration was the only one suggested, and they're out of business, and Anne McLeod didn't have anybody, and Kevin was struggling to find, like, it was, yeah, it's been a lot of dead ends, so thank you for
So excited about this, but
creating a path there.
The project list was included in our packet, so
Yeah.
I just was wondering where we are with that. Does this look pretty complete to everybody? I
It's
just
been
glanced through
updated
it.
throughout the year.
yes, I've noticed it's updated.
Yeah, and then some updates in terms of the restoration that's been kind of ongoing, some of the interior stuff upstairs. Kevin from Empire right now is working on a quote. He had somebody out a week or 2 ago, and they're putting together a quote for restoration of the upstairs woodwork.
Oh, nice.
That's all really needs help up there. Specifically on the second floor, like the baseboards and all of that kind of stuff. And then he's still working on a plan for the wall sconce in the meeting room. Some of these little projects take more time for them because they're kind of focused on bigger stuff, but we appreciate them, you know.
Kevin moves at the speed of tectonic plates.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it possible to consider reaching out to other contractors, like, for example, Spectrum General Contractors and White Construction Group were 2 general contractors that had historic preservation and restoration experience, and we included them in the grant application as possible general contractors for the projects. They would still be in the know for their subcontractors who can do these kinds of things. And depending on how busy, anyone is, another contractor might be able to get to it sooner.
Yeah, and especially if the cost of any project is over $10,000, then we need to get multiple quotes. So it's always helpful to have other folks.
Other eyes on it.
Yeah, and I know the names are in the previous, but what were they?
Spectrum General Contractors and White Construction Group. They're excellent. And History Colorado knows them well also.
Cool.
So the other one I want to share with you is Watkins Stained Glass Studio.
That was the other piece, yeah.
I really highly recommend them. Their bid to replace this curved leaded glass, double leaded glass in the library was. You'll look back at the the grant application. Their bid was by far the lowest, but they have by far the greatest amount of experience in leaded glass and stained glass, and so I highly recommend them especially for any other glass work that we might need, but especially as we're looking at this glass. Yes,
and those
stained
are the other
glass
pieces that are on Empire's radar also, but we can get multiple quotes.
Watkins Stained Glass, they're in Denver. They do work on all kinds of historic buildings. They've done work on the state capitol. They've been in this business for generations. And so it's impressive. They would be excellent to have come and take a look at and give you a bid to restore and to do any repair that's necessary to the stained glass and it's stained glass and leaded glass pieces in those, both the one at the back door and the one at the stairway.
Great, thank you for that information. So yeah, we can get multiple quotes for whatever projects we're interested in. And then other than the table, the upstairs woodwork, the stained glass, I think that's probably enough to be working on at one point, but are there any other big projects that people want to kind of make a primary focus for 2025 at this point?
What about the buffets?
I think that's, all part of,
That's part of it.
yeah.
It can be. I only
This
talked to
one
him about the table
for
and chairs.
sure, I don't know
I'm
about
sure
that one.
he would be
Might not
capable
be much, but
of doing those too.
yeah.
As far as sequesters are concerned, were they talking about?
They're talking about the dining, we've been talking about the
Dining.
dining set, so.
Wow,
that's
nice.
And, they'll raise as much as they can raise, they might not necessarily be able to, but they have been looking for a quote so that they know, how much they,
Yeah, we'll have to correspond with them, get some information.
If you'd like, I'll take pictures of the buffets as well so
Sure.
that I can include them in emails.
Yeah, I don't know that one will need anything necessarily, but it's worth just double checking, I guess,
Yeah,
but.
this one for sure.
And we could also invite him to come out to
Yeah.
take a look.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
He does like to come into Longmont, so.
Yeah.
I didn't think it'd be too much of an ask to stop in at his convenience.
Okay.
Okay, so we're good with those being kind of
Those are
the focus right now?
Is there anything that is pressing in your mind on here that is, if we don't do this, the integrity of the historic piece is in danger? Do you think?
The only other thing that we were gonna talk about, and in terms, especially if this table's getting moved out to be restored at some point, is the floor underneath it, needs some work. And then we've been talking about what to do about the parquet floors in general. They've been waxed several times over time. I don't know if we want to continue to keep waxing them or, is that just kind of like coating all of the imperfections and whatnot that are there, or if we want to look at getting those restored at some point, or maybe that's a future project.
Have they ever been restored?
Probably not,
I don't think so.
yeah.
I didn't think so either.
Well,
But
Would you like
underneath,
us
like in the
to-
middle underneath here
if
has
they
the
haven't been
problems.
restored, that's good news, because then it's easy to sand and do
And
as
do
far
it,
as it
yeah.
goes. We still want the specific folks to do that, but.
Yeah.
But if they've been sanded a couple times, then.
Right.
Would you like us all then to, as a takeaway from this, and then just food for thought between now and the next meeting, or even in January, it can be put off to January. Everyone come back, do a little searching and see if we can individually find some experts who really know what they're doing with this type of floor that could come and take a look at it and give us their opinion about what to do with it, how to treat it, or.
Yeah, and that was how this came to be, is I was looking for somebody to clean the carpets and the upholstery and do the tile, and so we had somebody come in and do those, and then they recommended someone to come look at the floors, and that person, instead of continuing to wax them, recommended having them, restored, and has done historic restoration, so it's at least one potential quote, but it would be good to get more opinions on something like that. So.
Do we have so I'll be good, we'll do that, we'll plan for that. Do we have a cost, and this is going to the pointing of the bricks. We were needing to get what the estimated cost is, more current, I guess, estimated cost on
Yeah, I mean, I think.
repointing the bricks, and that ties into, all right, where are we going with our major,
Well, I think our thoughts may have changed on that, based on input of you're gonna repair spots that are needed.
Yeah.
As opposed to the whole thing, and
Yeah.
it's actually a lot less, so.
Yeah, Kevin's from Empire's input was that we wouldn't do every
wouldn't wanna
bit,
do
that
every
it
bit.
would not be good for the integrity of the structure to do every bit. We just wanna do the pieces that need done, because there's no point in pulling the bricks out and redoing the mortar in areas where you don't need to. So I think it was 11
It
something,
was money that we could do.
yeah, to do
Yeah.
what he
So it's a
thought.
very different
needs
sort
to
of
be done.
project
Wow,
than what we imagined it to be.
yeah.
Um,
Can we get a second and maybe third opinion from maybe the two other contractors?
Well, I have
Left
to,
and right.
since
Yeah.
it says it's over 10 grand, we need to get 3 quotes.
So if we can reach out to each of them also to,
Yeah, we'll make sure
but that,
that
I really
that's
think
their
that's,
opinion too.
yes.
Yeah, it's their
Yeah.
opinion.
And if so, that would be wonderful news.
Yeah, it would be,
Because
absolutely.
that's something we'll just do it.
What a concept, right? What a great idea.
I thought we like-
And that'll make Harold tickled that I pulled it off the CIP, so.
Right? Make us tickled too.
What do we do that with?
PDF.
Okay. Okay,
That's very exciting.
Yes,
cool.
great, excellent.
I think that's everything about,
Do you think you'll be able to get the updated estimates by December, or is that a January?
I can reach out to people right away, depending on when they can come out and make a quote, that's not for me to say right now, but.
So maybe we can just put it on the next agenda
Well, I think,
as follow-up, but.
restoration preservation will go into old business until we have some idea about where we're going with these projects.
Right, but just to be able to, be acting, be able to be more informed as soon as we can be about what all three contractors.
Yeah, I'll reach out to people as soon as I can, and when they get the information back is.
So we'll have it at a board
Okay.
meeting, okay.
But that is, you'll look into that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, anything else on future restoration? Are we good? The December open houses on the 6th and the 12th. They're on my calendar.
Yeah. So,
Say.
let's see, Santa is from 3:30 to 7:30, so I think if y'all are here, 3:15-ish. And registration for that opens on the 25th, which is not this Monday, but next Monday. So it's 2 weeks for people to register. That was what we did last year, and expect it to fill up like it always does.
Days.
Yeah, so, we haven't really been advertising for it because
It's not
it's
necessary.
it's gonna just fill up, so.
Yeah.
And then the regular open house is the 12th from 4:30 to 7:30, so that's been the same time frame that we've done the rest of the open houses this year. The Santa one is,
Say that again.
the regular
The time.
open, 4:30 to 7:30.
4:37.
Was here at 4:15?
Yes, please. And, yeah, that's just the regular holiday decor open house, no registration for that one. I did have someone, a pianist, reach out, to ask if we were interested in them playing piano during the open house. She said she would charge a rate of $100 just total for the evening.
Wow, yeah.
Last year, the donations that we made at that event were $225. However, that was after, there was 400 people there, and that was after the article in the Times call about the restoration, so we don't expect that many people this year.
Right.
So if we had, let's say, half of that amount of people, then the donations that we make might go to cover the pianist. So I don't know if we want to, if we're interested in that or not. Surely it would be nice,
Great
but
idea. I say
Yes.
we earmark that $100 out of the cash donations, and if we can,
okay.
let's go
What
with
do you
that.
think, Candy? That'll go?
It's a self-guided tour, so we're not expected to be talking to a group
And
necessarily,
that's the
listening to
key to me.
questions.
That's,
So that would be the key, whether or not we
because,
are talking over.
yeah.
correct.
Well, and maybe we have people, like if she's playing here, maybe we have people stationed just in
Other
other
places.
areas. And if you're
Yeah.
in here, you're enjoying the music, and if you're in other places, you're talking about the features of the house.
Answer questions, whatever.
That works.
Okay, that
Perfect.
works.
Okay. I think it is a very reasonable rate.
You definitely.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
So,
We'd
yeah.
love to
And
have
she said originally she quoted 125, but then she got booked for something, I think at Hober Home. So then has to come 15 minutes later or something. So she said 100. So I was like, great.
Okay, sure.
So I said I'd bring it to the group today and get back to her and let her know, but I thought it sounded nice.
I think we should have
write it down.
Okay.
but it's in my email, yeah.
I think we should have a
Nice,
motion
she
on
can
that.
do-
So I'll move that we.
She might do some nice
hire a
old
piano
ones,
player.
including green sleeves and
Yeah.
million old.
So I'll move that we hire, or I go ahead and hire the piano player for the $100 for the,
You
Second
don't, you don't need to vote. That's not what you need to vote on. That's just
Well,
a-
we're
You're just gonna spend the money? Okay,
okay.
That's
all
us.
right, okay.
I'm
in
saying-
if you are.
I'll
I
say
mean,
that.
we'll
I'll
all
just
be
say
in
yes.
agreement, it looks
You'll
like
just
we'll
say
all
yes,
be in
okay,
agreement,
then.
so I think
Since
it's good
everybody
anyway,
is
but-
in agreement, we don't.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
Do we need to set her up as a vendor and pay her that way? Okay,
Okay. Figure so.
Excellent.
all right.
Okay, that's everything on the open
Take
houses?
that.
Just, here's the donations, yeah.
Yeah.
Love
Oh,
to.
Right.
I have a quick question regarding the Santa open house. I know that in some years, people prefer certain rooms to stay in, to be in. And other times, people say, I'd like to kind of rotate around the rooms. I don't know what you all would like to do, but maybe we should talk about that and kind of get that understood before December 6th.
Yeah, 'cause that's coming up.
Yeah.
That's the next thing.
I am flexible and can go anywhere and do anything. Do you all have a preference of which room you'd like to be in, or do what you want to do?
I'm willing to rotate.
Rotate.
Come on, rotate.
Rotate.
Sure.
So let's plan that we'll all just rotate. We
Yeah,
can
the
start. We
12.
can pick a we can
Okay.
pick a room to start with,
Uh-huh.
and we'll just rotate halfway through, or whatever feels kind of natural, and we'll just kind of okay, that's
And quite frankly, it's fun to be upstairs at
It's
least for
very
a short period of
fun.
time when the kids are meeting Santa.
yes.
Okay, so are we talking about for both, you wanna rotate then? Because for the Santa open house, it's less of people wandering through the house and getting information as it is like
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
working
Yeah.
through the procedure of the event and having people kind of take
Well, I was
jobs.
I was definitely
Um,
speaking about the Santa, only
Santa.
because everybody does like to have an opportunity to go up and kind of observe that.
Yeah.
But we can definitely address both the Santa and just the regular open houses. Should we rotate in both?
It's up to y'all.
That's fine.
Whatever works out, I'll do
That sounds
whatever.
good. We'll
We'll
rotate in
fig-
both.
we'll
It'll be
figure it
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
And
long,
then
how long does Santa last?
Santa is 3:30 to 7:30 and the 12th regular open house is 4:30 to 7:30.
And I know you're really good about taking care of identifying how many guests we have in the house in the first hour, second hour, third hour.
Yeah.
And while that will definitely be interesting for the 12th, we're not going to have any problem with the drop off in the latter hours of the
No.
of the 6th.
That's a different-
We always have that drop off in
Right.
attendees
Yeah.
in the
Right,
last hour. That's not going to be a problem with Santa.
Yeah.
No.
So do you have to do your colored tickets?
No, we don't do that
Anymore?
anymore.
And then do we also still provide something upstairs for the kids to, we had coloring pages out on the tables and stuff before? Are we doing that?
We stopped doing it.
Because it's
They just-
appointment based,
and I
so they
think-
just kind of.
Yeah, they-
Go right.
So
It's really
basically
not
what they
waiting
did last
yet.
year is, they checked in at the front, we had people wait in the parlor or the music room, and then I would call them when it was their time. They'd get taken upstairs.
If I can I try to explain the process so that, because I think there's some steps that you're missing that you don't mean to, but yes, people are checking in, they come into the foyer, they are checking in there, they're led to the parlor, where the person who's in the parlor, the courtroom in the parlor will share some information about the parlor with them while they're waiting there. And then they'll rotate to the music room, and then they'll rotate to the library. And when the person's called, it works really well this way because whenever the Santa is available, then we're coming to call the person who is in the library because that's kind of the, they're getting ready, but they have been. And they go
They're
upstairs.
in this
They go
area.
Yeah,
upstairs
they
into
were
the
just-
bride's room
just
and
general,
then
yeah.
into
Say their
Santa's
name
room.
and,
So it's worked really well that way because it keeps numbers low in each room, and I know it is by appointment.
but they come in.
Yeah, they do bunch up.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so that works really well. So if we can keep with that process, and of course we can be flexible as needed. I mean, if people are, not coming in waves like they typically are, and they're just coming on an appointment time, then maybe they're just getting through, one or two rooms down here, and then they'll call called upstairs, but it works nicely.
So as I recall, there was a dad who was trying to entertain his son, and they were doing like a little scavenger hunt kind of thing, spur of the moment thought. Because there were some kids like that needed to be, they were still waiting, even though it went a lot faster than it used to, but they were still in the process of waiting in these different rooms.
And maybe there can be a little activity on the table in each room down here, which sort of keeps them occupied until they get
Yeah,
upstairs.
like maybe little puzzles, just small.
I mean, it's an option if you want to do that. I think that what I found that has been interesting and kind of exciting is that the kids have been, as long as they have something to be looking at, and it's a look, no touch kind of thing, and they understand it, but as long as they have something to be looking at and they're told something, they're listening, they're paying attention. And if you ask them, do you have any questions, they come up with the most amazing, thoughtful questions. So they're learning something as they're going through the rooms. They don't necessarily need an activity like what they would receive at the recreation center.
Well, that's what I started off, and what this dad was doing was like a scavenger hunt. What do you see in this room? How many books did you count in the bookcase? And maybe if we were armed with those kind of questions on our own to start with, that would be something that the kids would engage more with.
That would be fun.
Yeah, there are
We
some
could
kids
engage
who,
them with that.
Yeah.
Stimulate questions.
Yeah, I think there was a
Think
wait
about those
of maybe 20 minutes or so last year, like in the thick of it, even though we had, reservation times, it sort of gets backed up, but
It
think it's a great
works.
idea.
Yeah, it is a great idea. So as we're stationed in whatever room we're in, along with the room details that you'll have in the docent's guide, you can pick and choose whatever fun fact you'd like to point out to the kids in that room.
somebody was counting something in the wood. I forget what it was, but that kind of
I
thing.
like finding the tree, like best, I don't know.
How many trees are in the
Yeah, how many
house?
trees are in the house, blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah, I think anything to help keep them entertained.
Yes,
I think.
yeah. And it promotes that education of the house too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that all said, Karen, last year you were kind of the runner of taking groups up and down the stairs. If we're gonna rotate, I think it might, what we could do is have somebody stationed, here and upstairs.
Right.
Because, just to kind of send people, so that the stairs are only being utilized by that one
Right,
group that's
That's
being
a
invited
much-
up at the time.
right.
But so that, you don't have to run up and down the stairs, we'll just have somebody at the top and the bottom that's, sending and receiving the groups that are supposed to be
Yeah,
going
I
up at
like
the
that
time.
idea.
So that people aren't just running up the stairs that aren't invited up yet for their time slot.
Right.
Okay.
So do you suggest anyone in particular to be doing the
No, I
bottom
think
and stuff?
whoever wants to, if we're gonna rotate, I think it'll be multiple people.
I'm just not gonna run down.
No.
Well, that's why, that's why I'm
Yeah.
suggesting that we just
Oh,
have
wow.
somebody up top and the
Come
bottom.
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So staff-wise, obviously the board members will be here, that's 5. Do you want
We're having, and then
us
I think
to
it's
ask
myself
any of the
and
prior board
Jacqueline.
members if they're interested in?
Yourself and Jacqueline.
Because
Okay, so 2
we're
staff.
providing 2 staff, we don't really need more than that.
Would you be open to, and would you like to invite past board members to come assist with being a docent for
Do
that?
we need them?
I don't think it's needed, but if
Well, if we've got
people
someone
are,
if we're gonna be kind of showcasing.
there'll be 7 of us.
Yeah, that should be
Five
fun.
board members plus Jacqueline and myself.
That should be enough.
Should be
I think
fun.
it's fine, and
Yeah,
we're not
okay.
gonna have the Auto House open for the Santa one, it would
Right.
just be for the 12th, so.
Yeah.
I think we're good,
Okay.
but
But maybe for the regular open house, have an extra board member, past board member or 2, because if we're gonna have the auto house open, the more the merrier.
has someone expressed interest that they wanna be part of that?
If I reach out to Connie Newman, for example, she's wonderful. And if she's available, she's usually interested in coming in and helping be a docent, because it's just in her. She's wonderful about it, and she's well versed
So
about
she's
this. All of
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any
so I mean, there wouldn't be any reason to
reason
we
not
couldn't.
to. Yeah, I think we, you know, if she can't or whatever, I don't think we're struggling
Oh,
for
yeah.
people, but.
That's right.
I'm just thinking, because I'm thinking forward about, if we can.
Sure, if she's expressed interest, yeah, she's more than welcome.
Absolutely.
I'll get you the,
Two M's, right? N, two M's, and M. Yes.
I'll get you the correct spelling.
Okay, we're moving on to the year's end board event.
Oh.
Thank you.
Sorry, Karen, I just wanted to, the Times Call did reach out and they are advertising the event,
Oh,
so
great.
probably not in the same way that it was last year with the restoration and all.
Right,
But
right.
anyway, sorry.
No problem. Good, that's good to know.
Oh, goodness sakes.
Okay, now we're moving on to C, year-end board thank you event.
So in the past, we've done the luncheon, which has been very nice, but we want to pivot this year and do, I think, a tea for the year-end event. And so we just need to talk about a date for that works for everybody, and if you all want to do the ornament exchange again, or how that works. But yeah, I think we were thinking more of like an afternoon tea type of event. So
Nice.
rather than a catered lunch, if that works for everyone.
Yes. Great. We should definitely do that.
Do we want that to be in December? Does January work better for people? What
I
looks
think
good?
December is better, because if anyone wants to do an ornament exchange, we can do that. And
Oh,
it's
sure.
so- It's
Oh,
fun.
that's true.
It's
Yeah.
fun. It's just,
Okay, are there, I think, just, I think we did a week day before, but what, yeah, what looks good for everybody? In terms of the house, usually anything but Wednesdays is mostly good. You can have, you know, a few clubs on other days here and there, but
Right.
and then do we want to be, so that, you know, the open houses are the 6th and 12th, do we want to look at the following week or keep it earlier to avoid people being gone for the holidays?
this is a kind of a thing to throw out. How about, is a Monday good? Like
Yeah,
maybe
the
Monday the
house
9th?
Usually,
Because then I'll
Right,
have been after the Santa open house, and that would be fun to just chat and talk about and how cute kids were and whatever, and just enjoy, you know.
the house is open for an afternoon tea time. I have a walkthrough in the morning that should be done by 10:30. But if we're doing like a traditional tea time at 1 o'clock or noon or whatever,
Yeah.
is that
Yeah,
okay?
that would be nice.
Okay.
Can we plan for that?
On the 9th?
On the ninth,
Yeah. What time is good? Like
Whenever in the afternoon is good for the house.
what
For you.
works for you?
yeah, noon or 1.
If one is better, you want to do that?
1. Okay. 1 to 3.
Sure.
Okay, great. And does anybody have, I don't remember this report, does anybody have dietary restrictions?
And if everyone just wants to, if you want to do an ornament exchange, then bring
Bring one.
one. Do we raffle them? Do we still raffle them, or do we do this?
Oh,
I think they're,
they got wrapped, so they stay wrapped, so they're enticing.
Bring an ornament wrapped, and if you don't want to participate, don't bother, and
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
And what was the monetary?
oh,
What do you think it should
I
be?
think it was like $15 something last year, $20.
It's 15.
15.
It was 15.
Yeah, I think that's good for an ornament.
You can't find one for much less than that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll send it out an invite. And last year it was liaisons, staff, and board.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
it's great.
Yeah, that works great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we are all the way down to D, the 2024 annual report. I should have one of those to Candy. I did some work on it. It's a rough draft.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, I don't have all the year-end information. We'll have to wait to get all of that. But I would like to have you just look over the overview and the events. I just kind of kept with the same format that we used last time. Maintenance, you and I can talk about that, I guess, if we need to
Yeah, I
sit
can
down
help
one morning and
whatever.
work with that. But just kind of look it over and redline it or purple, line it whatever color you wanna use, and, kind of get it back to me maybe next meeting.
Sounds
Just
good.
if there's some changes and edits and additions and corrections, we'll go from there. At least I have a working document.
Excellent.
That's the important part.
Thank you.
I don't have
Great
anything
job.
else to report on it but that. So, here we go.
Comments next month.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Okay, we're moving on to new member recommendations to the council for 2025. I was so excited, we had 5.
It is very
Wow.
exciting. Yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah, actually, we did have one no-show, so really, there were 5 applications, but one no-show for interviews, so. But Maureen and Karen and Ben and Kristen and I took part in the interview process.
Great.
So we do have 3 recommendations to make for council,
Excellent.
and it is meant to be discussed at this meeting.
Okay.
So yeah, our recommendations, and this was, we had, 4 great candidates, but we had to choose 3. There are 3
Right.
positions open. And the terms are there are 2 3-year terms available and 1 1-year term available.
Oh, okay.
So we're making a recommendation, for those terms as well. So for a 3-year term, we recommend Jeff Gallagher. For another 3-year term, we recommend Julia Brown. And for the 1-year term, we recommend Diana Lasik. So I guess at this point, we just need to ask if the board is good to move forward with the recommendations of the committee, and if so, then we'll make those recommendations to council. Ultimately, council they'll interview all of they'll interview all of the candidates, and then, they make the final decision. So, yeah.
It's unlikely to take.
It's unlikely that they do.
And again, her other candidate was great.
Yeah.
She went,
Yes.
we would totally welcome her, and,
too.
Yeah,
and hopefully she'll reapply when we have another opening.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay, so,
I move that we, that's not my business.
Yes, it is.
I move that we accept the recommendations of the interview committee.
I second that.
thank you. All right, then we'll make those recommendations to council, and
Anybody have any?
Oh, it is.
No discussion,
No,
it's unanimously
we don't
approved,
do
is that
that.
right? We're good,
If you have a
okay.
complaint, you better raise it.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah,
think
okay.
we're council's doing 2nd round interviews on December 14th. And then, obviously the folks that are joining will be here in January.
So do they know, will they know, well, they will, because they have to go through the 2nd round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it'll be shortly after that, they'll be notified, probably the next week.
Yeah.
I'm sure pretty quick they try to get that done.
Yeah.
And I think we're all pretty excited we're getting that guy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That would be the first
That's
male
wonderful.
board member at Callahan House
Good.
ever, so
Yeah.
I'm glad.
record setting.
It records. Just historic.
Yeah, it is, it's pretty cool, so, yeah. that's all I
Okay.
have about that.
I think we're moving on to item 7. Items from staff.
So it was requested last month to include the previous financial reports for 2024. So Sandra was kind enough to fill in some gaps there and get us all of those up through September, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks to her, that was,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, so we've got everything here through September. So that's all provided to you for your review. And then moving forward, so the next quarterly report, the full manager's report will be January, and then that will have the financials for October, November, December at that point. So, and then after that, we're kind of planning to share them as they're available. I mean, ideally, it might kind of coincide with the quarterly reports, but otherwise they'll be shared as available. So,
We will be going through a little bit of a transfer. Sandra's moving up, so we will have somebody new. I think it will be Sarah Del Val,
okay,
but I don't know that. So if we see a couple hiccups next year, that's why. Sandra's amazing. She's Teresa Malloy is moving into Jim Golden's position. He's retiring after 45 years.
Wow.
And Teresa's amazing. Sandra's amazing. We're excited for her. It's really good for us. And then I have a really good relationship with Sandra, so I feel like we're.
Nice
that
people
helps
to
us.
say that, that's very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been,
She's helping
Yeah,
us
her
get
praise.
through so the end of the year. Again,
yeah.
us, not Callahan. Callahan funded very healthy.
Oh, that's good news. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody have questions on that? Okay. Items from,
Sorry.
go ahead.
The murder mystery survey
Oh,
is in here, just if you wanna
I would-
take a look, but
Yeah,
overall,
that's great, yeah.
very good
Yeah.
feedback. Everybody was really happy with the event. The only real criticism was about the food, which is a major bummer because we had it full service catered, so it was unfortunate to hear that that was not exactly up to par. And did provide that information back to catering just for their future knowledge. It was our, our normal caterer, and we've never had that issue before, but the service was good. They said the service was good, but the food was just like, that's okay. And for the price of the event, people were expecting a little more.
Who was the caterer?
So Greens Point, it's our typical caterer. They've always done a great job. So anyway, I provided that feedback back to the caterer, and they were happy to. Well, not happy, but they were grateful the feedback was shared.
Good to know that.
But otherwise, the event was had excellent feedback. People seemed to have a really good time, and so.
Want to talk about the liquor licensing a little bit?
Do we?
Let's table that. We're still working on it. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, overall good feedback. It was sold out. Unfortunately, we had a couple no-shows, but they don't get a refund.
No.
So, and I told everybody if you can't make it to let me know because you can get people off the wait list. And,
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, and we had somebody from Recreation join, and so I got to get kind of some more insight from her, and it seemed like they had a really good time. So
Great.
people dressed up and
Oh, so fun.
So yeah,
Thank you for putting that
it
together.
was fun. Yeah, it was a
Excellent
great
idea.
event. So yeah,
Brittany, it's a nice little idea.
It
Thank
is.
you for
Yeah.
all of what you're coming up with.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that
know,
was a fun
but just,
thing too. I was just pleased that it sold out and everybody had a good time.
right,
Yeah.
that's the goal.
And the net profit for that event was $700 and some, so
Wow.
not a ton, but
That's okay.
it's
That's a good
people.
amount of money.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
more than I expected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and
that.
so yeah, we made a little something on it, and people had a good time and
Right,
new way to get people in the house. So that's cool.
exactly.
Great. So yeah.
How fun.
Brittany, are you gonna speak about the,
Oh, the banner.
banners?
Yeah, thank you. There's a lot of stuff in here.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't say. There's more stuff in here.
Yeah, thanks. So these are what we talked about at the last meeting. We were talking about the engagement season marketing push, which Rachel and I are working on. And then in regard to that, Maureen had the idea to create just a regular public event banner that can be used for multiple events. So Rachel came out and we looked at some locations for the banner, and she put together a few ideas. Which are in the packet here. And the photo is showing, because we were thinking it would go on the fence, like on Terry Street, but did not realize when we were thinking about how short the fence really is.
Yeah, it's really
It's not
short.
really short. So the idea then is to have a hanging banner that hangs vertically, instead of horizontally on the posts. This one is on 3rd and Terry, so it could be on both sides, and then potentially another one because there's one right by the gate out here on 3rd, kind of directing people. 'Cause for large events, we're going to close that and have people come through the one gate so we can count them. So that's the idea, is that they would just be on a string that can just hang over the post, so that nothing has to be attached or anything like that. And in terms of the fence, that's kind of the option for where to put things.
Interesting.
Thank you for this, and yeah, it's nice that Rachel started. I was looking as I was driving up because I come north on Terrace Street, and so at that intersection, that's really small, that pillar, and to have, and I was trying to envision what you have here as an example, and I thought, I don't know that that's going to be I really don't know that that's going to be the location, and I also don't think that that's going to be the right size. And I do think, although, we did talk about a landscape, I still think a landscape one, even though it may be shorter to the ground, it can hang on the fence on Terrace Street and another on Third, and go all the way to the ground. So it can just, and I think people will, maybe we can come up with an example. We can take some butcher paper and go out there and take a look and see, all right, how would this look? And put a big slab of butcher paper on the fence versus going and looking at the pillar. Because I don't even know the size of these proposed banners, but already just looking at it in my car and driving up this way, people are going to miss that. It's only one location, and it is a sliver, and it is at a busy intersection. So I think we'll get more eyes on banners if it's on the street, the Third Street, and on the Terrace Street, rather than at the corner and the intersection. So can we maybe consider?
How are you proposing that they would hang?
Not, this is like, portrait style, but rather than vertical, but landscape, but horizontal. But they would hang on the tops of a high point of
The high point of the fence is about a foot tall. Unless you're talking about like.
It's taller than a foot off the ground. I mean,
There's really nowhere to hang them on the fence other than on these pillars. So the only other idea then, if we wanted them to be horizontal, would be to stake them into the ground.
well, that might be an option
Almost
too.
have to do that. I can speak to that a little bit, having put up those sidewalk
Sandwich boards.
sandwich boards out there on the corner, and it's just not a good place. The traffic is so busy and it's going every which direction, and it's tough.
So,
Yeah, well, that was the thought here, because this pillar is on Third and Terry, so you get one on both sides. And they're actually, I mean, if you look at it, they're actually going to be pretty wide.
it's
But
just,
How
then
tall is
you're
that
still bringing it down to one location.
I don't know, I've got the measurements somewhere.
It's not real tall.
It's tall, I mean, it's over my head.
Oh, okay, well,
I would have to get on a
that's
step
to me,
stool
that's
to
tall.
get up in. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're still
okay.
bringing it down to one
Yeah.
location, one viewing location versus two.
Already a segment of two.
And
Yeah.
two
I think you could
banners.
do- No, 3 banners.
Yeah.
2 here, 1 over here.
Yeah.
And you could put 1 over here too.
Yeah, we could do
I
4.
mean, these are cheap.
I was just gonna say, is that the price
Yeah,
of one?
they're really
That is-
inexpensive.
that is- you could definitely get a handful.
Right.
I would recommend doing this because it's very inexpensive and we can have an immediate impact. But I would think about finding a spot to permanently put in a couple posts that's find something that's doesn't stick out that we could have put in black and then we could permanently put not permanently, but the posts would be permanent, hopefully not visible. We could throw a bigger banner up at that point. That's how I'm thinking, because these are almost, I would put them here and there. And then
We
you
have
have,
to have a permit for the city to put up this kind of signage, and it's quarterly. So within a quarter, you can have it up for 30 days. Although
And we don't want it up for 30 days.
they kind of said, nobody's really.
nobody's watching.
Right.
But you're only putting up
to apply
These
for a
ones are
permit
based
per
on
quarter.
events.
Yeah.
These would be, but the engagement ones, you'd
Sure,
like
yeah,
to have up longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, these would be like for the day.
Right,
for an event.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think they're inexpensive enough that we can try it
Let's try it.
and have these, and then if we still want to go with something
A little
louder
bigger,
and
yeah, a
Because
little
I don't-
bigger and
more
honest.
bold.
Yeah.
I
can
agree
add
with you,
that
Karen. I think something bigger would be appropriate,
Mhm.
but these are easy.
Yeah, these are
Let's
easy.
start off with
Let's
this right
see.
now, and
Yeah.
then let's
Right.
keep
See
thinking
how
about
it
the
goes.
next step.
So then you're suggesting 4 of them, or
I
how
would
many?
get
We
four.
could, yeah, there's
So you're talking
space
about
for it.
$100 basically.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
Yeah.
so
Very
I'll
good.
give you the $100.
that way we can have a, would they be ready for the December open house?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess it depends on if we like some of the designs that are available.
4 of them are 92.
I think it's also hard because this is really,
Yeah.
Yeah, this one would
it's
be.
not as long and skinny as, or it's not as, it's hard to picture because it's all really squished. I feel like this would be a lot more space, right?
I think, yeah,
But the
No,
measurements
Rachel
I
make it
think
work.
are hard
Yeah.
to picture.
Rachel
Without
will make
them.
it work. But the
Yeah.
idea obviously for this one would be, for the south gate, leading people around to come in the front and do an event. Or it's, and maybe we need a selection of these, this one leading people around and this one at the front here where people enter, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
But these are just some initial ideas that she put together so that you all could feel out or get an idea for what it would look like and see what you like or.
I think the
So
blue
you're
is
saying,
Me too. I agree. The blues color really.
When I first looked at them, I thought the middle one was more classy, but I don't think it would stand out as well as the blue would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I like
it
the
could
little
be.
arrow on it.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's
super
fun.
nice.
It could be a selection of 2 of these and this same thing, but with the come on in instead of the
Right.
arrow, so that they're coming around and then.
Yeah, it's right here, it says come on in.
Yeah.
are you saying that we can only choose one design? I mean, we can mix and mingle
No.
these designs and make one design, or are you saying that we can?
Yeah, I'm
we can
saying
choose
maybe
one
with
of those?
having multiple of
Maybe
so
do
each
those.
four included because it's leading people around.
Okay.
So maybe 2 of these
Uh-huh.
and then this, but with the come on in instead of the arrow for the front.
Right.
So like
In
1,
other
2.
words, this one, but blue background,
I think
or
so.
one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, they're different, okay. Yeah, well, I know what you mean.
So 2 that say come on in public event for like this side,
Mhm.
and then 2 of the arrows for the 3rd Street side,
Exactly.
having people come around.
Yeah.
But this, we like the blue with the pink.
Yeah,
Okay.
Let's go with it.
It could be that the cost is a little bit different if there are 2 different designs, just an FYI, but I can't imagine it would be, well, not really, yeah, because 2 and 2 still.
Yeah.
So,
Just the difference, right?
okay. Yeah, and then they just have a hanger that goes over the like finial on top
Right.
of the.
Right.
So nothing has to attach, which also is nice.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
What kind of hanger is like a cord or something, fabric cord?
Okay, well, let's start with those. And then Rachel's designing something, it's the same thing, same setup for, the engagement push marketing. So we're gonna work on that.
Excellent.
You might get for now, so. Well, okay, are those all the random things that are in here that I?
I think that's already in the packet.
Yeah, I looked at anyway.
Okay.
Okay, yay, that's exciting. The Mary Shai plaque location is the next item from the board.
I cleaned it up as best as I could. It is old. And then I had this stand.
Oh, nice.
that looks
That
nice,
stand actually looks really good.
yeah.
I don't know if that made it too tall for the bookcase in there. That was my thought.
Right.
That it doesn't need to be hung upstairs.
Right.
That inside that bookcase is perfectly fine with
Acceptable.
me. So that's where I'd suggest that it.
Works for me, I'll let you all go
Is
on
it
that.
fits in there?
Yes, I would say it's a great idea because then it's safe and nobody will be touching it. And, or if it's on the stand, then that it can't be knocked off, so I think that's an excellent choice.
If it doesn't fit in there, well then I'll get another stand that's lower.
Yeah.
So
It isn't a Hobby Lobby.
So I move that the location of the plaque will be in the case.
If possible, if it fits.
Second.
Okay,
Is
seconded.
this the first thing on the board? That one was an item from staff.
That's from staff, yeah,
Yeah.
first staff.
Okay.
The other was from staff. This was from.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything else from the board?
I do have one item to share, and I think some people may be aware of it.
Yes,
Well, I don't know if Brittany and then Kristen, if you are aware of it, but the History Colorado featured the Callahan House in their weekly newsletter during the week of October 23rd. And it was as an example of the use of History Colorado's funds for preservation. And so I'm going to put that in the scrapbook, but yeah, it's really quite neat. But they featured the Callahan House in their newsletter. So
In their newsletter.
yes, it's an e-newsletter.
Oh,
It's a weekly e-newsletter. So I thought that was a nice nod. And
glad you caught that.
well, Connie knew also
Oh,
caught
she
it.
would, Connie.
And so which was great. And so yeah, so it's great that they featured.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
You replaced, you were on.
I didn't serve with her, but I've met her a couple of times, yeah. Yeah, she was at, was it Club Fair or Art Walk? Club Fair,
Yeah.
anyway.
Club Affair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, do we need to discuss the future agenda items there?
I think the only thing that we discussed is the fact that the club survey responses and the 2024 program's revenue report will be moved to the new business of next month's agenda.
December.
Yeah.
December.
And that's it. And if there are any other future agenda items that are before the end of this year, we might want to say, hey, we've got to include that in December's agenda.
Okay. Anything else, anybody? This is your last chance. Yeah. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
It's 10
Candy, motion to adjourn at
and
10:48.
10:48, and I'll second that.
Okay. Thank you two for motioning and seconding. I very appreciate it.
Good work.